Hi, welcome to our gardening tips video series. I am Monica Fleur, and let's talk about repotting. Whether repotting a new houseplant or repotting plants who are starting to outgrow their containers, the process of repotting is the same. Understanding this process will help to ensure plants are vibrant and healthy in their new homes. Let's start by reviewing some of the overall best practices when repotting. If a plant is in a container that's too small, it can become root-bound, meaning the plant's dense roots become too tightly packed in the container. When this happens, the roots can't take up many nutrients from the soil, and the plant won't be able to grow much bigger. This is why root-bound plants require repotting. You can spot a root-bound plant if you see roots poking above the soil surface or out of drainage holes. A root-bound plant's leaves might be brown or yellow and starting to wilt. You may also notice the plant growth has slowed. Repotting is best done in early spring or fall when temperatures are moderate. This timing allows plants to establish roots before extreme weather conditions, ensuring a smoother transition and healthier growth. Avoid repotting during the intense summer heat as it can shock plants and hinder their adjustment. If plants are indoors with a stable temperature, there is more flexibility to repot at any time. After repotting, proper watering is essential. Ensure the plants are adequately watered without overdoing it, as newly potted plants need time to establish their roots before thriving. Planning repotting around milder seasons gives houseplants the best chance to thrive, as they are not also facing the demands of new growth and have the best conditions to establish roots and healthy growth. Allow plants some time to adjust to their new home before fertilizing. This also aids and encourages growth as the plants settle into their new environment. Now that you know some of the overall basics, let's walk through the typical repotting process you can use when plants are ready for a new home. First, choose a pot. Select a container 1 to 2 inches larger than the one the plant is currently in. If the pot is too small, the plant can remain root-bound or even topple over. If the pot is too big, the soil will stay too moist since the roots will not have expanded enough to absorb all that moisture. Next, you will prepare the pot. It is always best to use a pot with drainage holes. You can add a layer of potting soil directly into the container. Otherwise, adding a layer of rocks to the bottom, then add your soil on top of that will help prevent water logging the plant. Sometimes an indoor plant may need to have a pot without a drainage hole. Simply plant the pot in an insert so it can be removed for easy watering and ensure proper drainage. Decorative moss on top of the insert will hide it from view. Another great tip is to water the plant being transferred an hour or two before repotting. This makes the upcoming move much less stressful for the plant. Add a small amount of water to allow the soil and roots to become easily movable during transfer, but avoid saturation. When all the preparation has been completed, it is time to transfer the plant and remove the plant from its old home. Turn the old plant pot sideways, and while gently holding the stems, tap the bottom of the container until it slides out. You may need to give a gentle tug on the base of the stems. It's important not to pull too hard on the stem. If necessary, use a knife or tool to separate the soil from the sides of the pot. Once removed from the old pot, prepare the plant. Start by examining the roots and soil. If the soil is in good shape, keep it as is. However, if the soil is moldy or rotten, get rid of the excess. If the roots are tangled, gently unbind them. Take the opportunity to inspect the roots for any sign of pests or roots that appear to be limp and rotted. Remove rotted roots with a very sharp pair of scissors for a clean cut. Transfer the plant, put the loosened roots into the center of the new pot and fill with soil. When placing the plant, make sure it is centered and facing upright. Add soil around the plant in even layers and do not bury the plant deeper than it was in the original pot. Pack the soil gently to avoid air pockets and root damage, then water the soil slowly to settle. Add additional soil if needed. Pot the plant high in the soil, since the soil will continue to compact over the next 4 to 6 weeks. After the plant is securely within its new pot, placement is accurate, and all the soil added and lightly compacted, water the plant. Give the plant a nice soaking until water runs out of the bottom. Soak thoroughly until there are no longer any air bubbles and the soil is well saturated. After watering, check for settling. Check for any gaps in soil and add more if needed. Lastly, trim the plant. After repotting is a great time to cut off any dead or broken parts on the plant. You can also lightly prune if you need. This encourages branching. Transferring one indoor plant to another pot doesn't have to be a disaster or even make that much of a mess. By following the above tips, the process is quick and will aid the plant is adjusting to its new home. After repotting, monitor the plant for signs of stress while avoiding both fertilization and overwatering. Allow it time to adjust to the new setting. Whether repotting a new houseplant or repotting plants who are starting to outgrow their containers, the process of repotting is the same. Understanding this process will help to ensure your plants are vibrant and healthy in their new homes. Thank you for viewing this program, and share your repotting tips with members. At the Tusca Ridge Garden Club, we swap gardening tips, exchange plant cuttings, and celebrate each other's successes. Through our garden club, our friendships have blossomed, creating a vibrant, supportive, and nurturing community.